Welcome. When we associate the word groups, we tend to link it to fun times, memories shared with one another, group activities, or simply hanging out talking. It can be a time and a place of comfort, security, and even safety, being able to fit in with other people. Now, I've applied to a mystery. Such groups can appear, whether voluntarily or connected through friendship. Such groups who set out investigating a mystery, like Kenny Veach. Whether it be groups trying to look for Kenny's remains, or simply finding answers to the mcave whereabouts. But there are some groups who we don't know too much about, who remain anonymous and secretive. We've already seen strange behaviour previously with lone individuals. The same applies to groups as well, and one of which I'll get to later on, known as Powerchills. Someone who was in contact with me at a point in time. Very strange behaviour, and then went quiet, just like how some individuals did previously. But firstly, I'm going to share with you a brief summary and overview of all the groups that have come and gone, and explain what their purpose, what their aim, and their findings were. The first group we need to look at in brief is one of the originals, that is SAR, Search and Rescue. Not long after Kenny's disappearance, Search and Rescue began investigating, trying to locate him in November 14th, round the 17th. The groups consisted of volunteers and people who were local to the area, individuals who were trained in search and rescue and had knowledge of the area. They were the right group of people to be looking for Kenny. Now, one prominent individual, that of Gene Lokowski, someone who has been fairly active on YouTube regarding my videos, someone who's said a lot of information, someone who has been involved quite heavily in the mystery, especially back in 2014. From what we know of, here is a transcript of the details of the investigation by the search and rescue crew. I was on the initial search team, Red Rock Search and Rescue. You are correct. Most of the search team are volunteers. However, most have extensive SAR experience and training. I spent years in the military teaching map and compass and SAR techniques in a combat environment. The dogs you mentioned were trained search dogs, but they lost Kenny Veach's scent just before the mine. That could mean many things. Kenny Veach changed clothing and went in a different direction. He used a blind scent odour to confuse the dogs. Kenny Veach had some sort of motorised vehicle and left the scene on that vehicle. We operated under the consent of Clark County Sheriff's Department, however, there wasn't a deputy with us. Another strange thing, a dog team 4 days later picked up Kenny Veach's scent near Pine Nut Road, but lost it again. Gene replies, the actual SAR began on November 14th in the early morning hours. An initial recon team went to his vehicle and began a detailed examination of it, including footprints around the vehicle. A second SAR team proceeded up the train, Joe May Canyon. They found the cell phone and some coins. To the best of my knowledge, no footprints were located. The first method we used was a trained tracking dog. Its scent was obtained from Kenny Veach's vehicle. The dog tracked the scent to the cell phone and the scent disappeared. We tried several methods: 5-foot circle, retracing scent and aerial observation, but couldn't regain the scent. As for our thought, we always kept an open, possible mind that the fact that Kenny Veach was voluntarily lost, but our mission was to find him. After 4 days, I left the search because we had another missing person, in brackets Hunter, in the Cowich Mountains north of Warm Springs. Although unsuccessful, they did search a large area. The items of Kenny Veach, such as the mobile phone, were retrieved and were either held by the police metro or given back to the family at a later date. Now there are still questionings and suspicion that maybe either the search and rescue or the metro were holding on to information, sitting on stuff that the general public don't know of. You never know, anything is possible. But it does make me think, is or was there any possessions of Kenny Veach which held great detail and information which we have never seen? Who knows if we'll ever find out. Now onto a more mysterious group, Accord Research. Their research name known as No Name Team. Their leader called Arthur Kramer. This investigation team operated in Sheep Range during the 70s, and they were looking for strange radio signals east of Alamo Road. One of the key locations where the signals were found were up Dead Man Canyon. High band frequencies found which were very, very unusual. Indirectly, upon investigating, they supposedly found a cave where the frequencies were coming from. They took photos from the outside and then left suddenly due to military intervention and the likes of Nellis Air Force Base intervening. Who knows what could have been in those caves? From the research team themselves, they believed that's where the military equipment and secret stuff was within. Maybe that is the case. Now, in addition, most of this information was passed on from Gene. Interesting, the crossover. But I guess due to the location and knowledge shared, maybe that's why he knows, as well as research. Now, Accord Research supposedly wrote a book or a journal and published it, but eventually it came out of the loop and you couldn't find it anymore. Now, one individual in recent time did reach out to somebody to try and look for the book. No book exists, nor Arthur Kramer. Could this be one big cover-up, diversion, or are they very secretive and there is a different identity behind the group and what they stand for? And what happened to the original investigators? Where did they end up? What did they do next? Maybe we will never know. Later on in the Kenny Veach mystery, a fellow YouTuber, investigator known as Artari, found another mysterious group. In January 2021, a website was set up and created. The name of the group, the mcave Clue Crew. Supposedly a group of friends who said they will find Kenny Veach and retrieve him. Now the website itself, back then when Atari saw it, was fairly basic and straightforward, but some of it seemed quite suspicious and odd. They were allowing people to sign up to the website, to contact them and to meet up for a search, possibly. Now, the contact information was fairly simple. They had an email, I can't quite remember, but the name begun with Owen. The location was of a specific area, opposite a church, a residential area, I believe. And the phone number as well was present. Now, at the time, it seemed a little odd because the actual location, when searching elsewhere, was of Canada. I don't quite understand why that was the case. In addition, some individuals tried reaching out to the group, such as Jeff Clark, who did try phoning them about joining up, yet they never answered. Very strange. Now, I too did try reaching out, and I sent an email, and still to this day, no reply. In addition to that, there were strange findings later on, as when I returned back to the website, it was updated, it changed. The font, the text, the colour, but also some text as well. The weirdest part about it was that the location changed as well. It's a completely different residential area within Las Vegas. The question is, why? Why did they change it? Is there an explanation? Well, Atari did research herself, and she found a fair range of stuff. Make sure to check her channel out. One of the key findings was that the individual who supposedly could have owned the website, who was living in both locations at a certain point in time, which tied to the website, was known as Robert D. Atlas. Supposedly an individual tied with Atlas Corporations, and I think property development as well. Maybe a successful individual. In addition to that, Atari found that the son of Robert was called Owen. Could Owen be the one who created that website? Who knows? It seems very strange to begin with. The secrecy as well. They didn't reach out to anybody. They didn't reach out on forums or on YouTube. They just created a website, didn't tell anyone, and left it like that. And then put a lot of time and effort into updating it like a database. But why? What was the point? What's the aim? What was the goal? They said they were going to search for Kenny. But what happened to them? What did they find? Where are they now? Could it explain why it was simply a young group of individuals, friends, messing about, having a bit of fun? Maybe. Sometimes on YouTube, you see that in mysteries. People come along and say they know stuff when they don't. Maybe that's the case, but you never know. There could always be a deeper, darker reason. Months later, after the mcave Clue Crew website, a private search and rescue team appeared out of nowhere. Very mysterious, and not much information known about them. But once again, Jean reached out and was talking about that on July 21st, 2021, that they were searching within the area and they found a bone at Black Gate Canyon. Now, the information that was passed on was from Kenneth Yeager, a member of the private search and rescue team. Their main aim at the time was searching for another missing individual. At the time, they believed the bone could have been of a human, but later it was confirmed and debunked as a simple animal bone of a femur. But aside from that, despite the lack of information on this private search group, it does make you think, who was that other missing person out there? Who else could it be? Is it anyone we know of? Could it be really Robin? Could it be Eric the hiker? They're really the only two other people who were within the area or so that went quiet. Who else could it be? And why would they be out there? Because as we know, the terrain, the environment, it's remote and not many people go there. So whoever is missing or was missing, there must be a reason to why they were there in the first place. Could they have been searching for Kenny Veach themselves? Maybe. In addition, it makes me think and question, does the private search and rescue team know anything about Kenny Veach? Maybe they could, but they didn't mention anything. It's kind of a coincidence as well, how one of the members was known and called Kenneth Yeager, similar to Kenny Veach in terms of the first name. Maybe it's just a coincidence, but a strange one to say the least. It also makes me think, why the secrecy? Similar to previous groups, they seem to have characteristics of them being secretive or not being as upfront, and at times withholding information until a later date. There must be a reason and a process behind it, but with overlapping similarities, it does make you question, are there more people than we think who are in on the mystery in some way? And do they play a part like pawns in a game? Or are they the ones in control? We are not finished yet, because there is another group who is mysterious and in a way unknown of to most people. Now, they did reach out to me in the past, and I believe Atari as well. This group was known as Powerchills. The contrast to this group compared to the others is the others were looking for Kenny Veach and possibly mcave as well. Powerchills were investigating into the codes, the cryptic messages which I received. Powerchills themselves have a channel, and they did upload a video giving updates on the mystery and the cryptic codes themselves. The reason being is because I passed them on to the individual or group at the time, and it was the ones that I've shown to you on YouTube, and I believe even that very long excessive one. They said they were working on it. They had at least 5 investigators out actively looking or so, and what they found, they all tied back to one individual, I believe. They also mentioned something about an individual who was from Russia, or their IP was from Russia. Maybe it was a VPN, or maybe it was the truth. Linking back to that one individual, they said it linked to Lemmy Kilmister or something, that there were several characters, combinations within the codes that could have linked to a range of stuff, many. And them talking about a castle, a mill, that's what it was, a mill, looking for a mill somewhere. Very random and strange. I'll share with you the video I made at the time with what I was told. So this supposedly is an update on potential new codes, messages found along the way. Not in my area, I've not come across any of that, but some of the people, I think a group of investigators who've told me about it briefly, have said they've stumbled across more interesting and strange stuff, and it's taken an odd turn. Now, I asked them beforehand, is it okay briefly mentioning it, and they said it's fine. But supposedly they found more stuff. After making that video I didn't really hear from them again, and I believe I did send the odd email to them, but no reply. I don't know what went on with Atari or if they were still in contact. As for me, it stopped. Additionally, they did make a video and upload to their channel, as said, about the codes. I'll share that with you now.
We do have an update for you, and perhaps a lead, which could lead us to the truth about what really happened. We traced a comment that was left on Kenny's last video from an unknown account known by the name of Lemmy Kilmister. We decided to decode that name, and we found that from that name alone we could decipher 702 different words. 702 is also the area code for Las Vegas. Coincidence? We're not so sure. What we also found within these words is that many of them contain the word mill. And now we are of the understanding that we could be looking for an abandoned mill near the area where Kenny was last seen. So if anyone could help us, if anyone knows any old mills out there in the Nevada desert, please let us know.
So from what they said within the video is bordering on lines with what they said to me in an email. It still doesn't quite reveal too much though, does it? What makes it very odd is the tone of voice. It's quite clear they've used a voice changer to hide their voice, but why? What are they hiding? Once again, hiding their identity, their face, their true voice. Why? Kind of similar to previous groups in the past that have come and gone. A form of secrecy, a form of dysfunction, lacking clarity. But why? So with the additional information such as the location of the group where they operate or work, I do remember, and it was somewhere in London. And I also believe they've got a website as well, which I'll share with you right now. So this is supposedly Powerchills' website, Powerchills Limited. As you can see, top of the screen, they are well connected, social media wise, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and also YouTube. Now, the website itself looks fairly well constructed, and if we scroll down, there's a drop down box which we'll get into shortly. Brands, sources, about, and everything. As well, they've got a video there, and then like a banner border of different messages, and I guess maybe news announcements. But we don't need to look too deep into this stuff because this is just a quick overview, okay? If you wish to look yourself, you can do. If you want to reach out further, you can. So let's see what the About section is all about. In this together. Formed in April 2020 and released to the public in July 2020, Powerchills entered the scene primarily to offer paranormal investigations. However, it quickly became an international organization. We began to receive applications from around the world and decided it would be of interest to set up country divisions so that we could ensure that teams in the countries that we operate in were run effectively. Over the course of the next few months, we decided to look into the various ways we could offer help and support to those in other sectors. This led to the creation of our missing persons and cold case departments, which were designed to go above and beyond the normal level of support, such as Kenny Veach. With help and support completely stretched regarding missing persons and cold cases, We launch our own investigations to which any information that we may obtain is shared with the relevant authorities. We are also non-profit, meaning that we solely rely on donations in order for us to continue our vital work. We have now expanded to 8 countries with more planned in the near future. We also hope to create permanent employment to which we would then be able to support the economy. We offer training and resources to all of our members who work tirelessly to help and support those who need us, and this is all done on a voluntary basis. Investigative, I can't even say the fucking word, fuck me, services. Paranormal investigation, cryptic investigation, UAP report, missing persons investigation, cold case private, and cyber unit. So really the 2 that do pop out are the missing persons investigation, like Kenny Veach, maybe Eric the hiker. Private investigation kind of reminds me of the private search and rescue group in Nevada. It might be the same, it might not, but you know what I'm saying. So yeah, that's basically the about section. They seem worldwide, but they don't seem well known in terms of the reviews on Google, I guess. So the only other bit of information I found on Powerchills Limited is on gov.co.uk, public, okay? And here we go, Powerchills Limited. And you just scroll down the overview, registered office address, High Street North, East Ham, London. We'll get to that shortly and we'll look at that on Google Earth. Company type, private limited company. Incorporated, 19th February 2021. I can't remember when they emailed me, it was probably after February. We can look back at that video what I did when I was in the white top, because that'll tell you when, because it was before that. Accounts, first accounts made 28th of February 2022, due by, okay. Nature of business, investigation activities. So with the people, let's see, 3 officers, Austin Christopher John, at the address of High Street North, okay. Appointed 19th February 2021, occupation company director, nationality British, role active director. Egan Daniel, role director, active, occupation president, nationality American, from the US. 19th of July 2021, appointed. Turner Wyatt, role director, active, chief operating officer, American, United States, appointed 19th of July 2021. Are they all working at the same office? Maybe. It looks like it, yeah. So that's interesting. Let's have a look now on Google Earth. So if I type in the address and search for it, this is where we are, based round about the outer skirts of London, near to a gym group, office 612, okay, and it's near London Sri Mahalakshmi, whatever you want to call it, temple. Right, I'll probably get called a racist for that, for mispronouncing it, but oh well. So, to be honest, let's look at it. It looks a bit dodgy, from this angle at least. That looks like garages, or it's something shut up. It's got all the shutters down. You got a row of houses nearby, and then just behind that looks like a warehouse. It looks like a warehouse. You can see all the crates and pallets. Looks a bit rough. And then behind that you got the train tracks that run all the way past it. And this looks to be the building in question related to Powerchills. It looks kind of run down, it looks a bit rough, but you never know what it looks like inside. Looks can be deceiving. So yeah, this is what we're looking at. It's quite a big building itself, quite long. I don't know if it's rented or if they own the whole thing. We can do street level or something shortly. Wait, what does that sign say? Is that a shop? I don't know. Ron offices. I don't know if you can see that on the side of the building. But yeah, this is what we're looking at in general. Let's try and do a street view if possible. Okay. Well, that worked at least. Is that... Hey, that's a joke. That's a good joke, isn't it? Lidl's. Wait. What's going on here? So, Icon offices. Luxury serviced offices. From £60 per person per month. So supposedly Powerchills is operating up there above Lidl's. It's kind of funny that, to be honest. Let's just go around the back. Yeah, you've got they're not shutters, it's the side of the shop. Oh, hang on, you've got an entrance there. No, get out the way, people. I don't want to look at you. There we go. Icon offices, luxury serviced offices. So that must be the entrance where they go in and stuff. And go upstairs. Okay. Warning CCTV. Okay. And then it looks like there's a little back entrance back here into the building or something. You can see. Got a truck there. A dark room down below as well. And more windows of the offices, I guess. So they're probably rented out. Multiple people might run in at them, work in them and stuff. Okay. Well, we'll say as though, I mean, it could be legit. I'm not too sure. You can never be too sure, especially in this mystery, especially in people I've met in life. I've got to be 100% fully alert at every moment, every second with anyone and everyone. So, you know, in terms of the area street view and the fact that there are offices, it makes sense. When I saw the shop, I thought, wait, is this like some kind of piss take? But there's offices upstairs, and I guess to rent them out, you know, that's where they work, that's where they operate, and that might be where those 3 individuals work out and operate the calls worldwide, contact people from different countries, email people out, I guess. Must be the case. Who knows? Because it could be some kind of crossover with the mcave clue crew in terms of giving false locations, misleading information. It is possible. Now, if I had to give my final thoughts on Powerchills, you know, it wouldn't surprise me if they were watching this video right now and showed up. Ghosts from the past tend to do that, or at least in my reality. Anywhere, anytime, any place. Is there a part of me that thinks this could be a mess around, a joke? Possibly. If they were using a voice changer, it just seems like a childish form of behaviour. Something tells me that, because I've seen it happen before when people are messing around and doing pranks. Now, the rest of the content of their channel is paranormal, hence the name of their channel. I don't know what or who exactly is running the channel, and the videos that are uploaded, which some of them are like podcasts and interviews, discussions, are the people in those videos that's behind Powerchills? Or is Powerchills hosting, live streaming, or kind of like copyright footage onto their channel? I'm not quite sure. Maybe you have a better idea yourself when analysing it. And maybe even Atari can give her opinion down below of maybe her experiences and what she's found about them. I just thought I'd share this with you based off the theme and topic of groups, as I mentioned earlier on in the video as a brief summary, all in one go. I thought it was worthwhile. I don't know if you noticed, but that my tone of voice has changed now back to my normal speaking voice. It tends to happen. But yeah, I think that at the end of the day, aside from all these key individuals and strange individuals that show up, come and go, who might have a lot of information or might not, you know what I'm saying? We've looked at those people. We've noted those people down, like really Robin, and some others as well, even Jean as well. But what we haven't really done is looked at the groups all in one place at one time. Now, apologies if some of the details aren't quite long in length or depth, but I didn't want it to drag out because we've already looked at these groups and people beforehand, so you can refer back to them in past videos. And in addition, Atari has done research herself into certain groups, especially the mcave clue crew. Make sure to check her video out because she's mentioned and covered quite a lot. Okay, I just thought this video was important to include Powerchills into the discussion. The way they just appeared out of nowhere, the way they seemed, the stuff they said, and then just disappeared right after. So, who knows? Is there any theories, ideas, possibilities that this group of individuals or person behind could be, I don't know, the ones that created the codes? Well, it gets a bit messy if you think about it, because if people believe Michelle Mosaic Michelle, were the ones who she created the codes and then solved them afterwards, but then you got Powerchills as well, who is from the UK, who also made the codes. Just seems a bit messy if you ask me. Could it just simply be like the mcave clue crew and it's just a group of younger individuals or so that decided to jump in onto the mystery and mess around? That's always a possibility. But to every one of them, there is also a darker explanation, an alternative. Who knows what will happen next, or what group will show up? One underlying group, you know, entity, whatever you want to call them, Metro, is it the Las Vegas police? I can't cover too much on them because I don't have too much information, but based off from what Atari and Susan has said, they aren't exactly cooperative or too helpful, and that they ignore certain details. And they seem to make a mockery, or at least, you know, kind of ridicule Susan in some way. I don't know if that's 100% true, but you never know, it could well be the case. And it would make you think then, why? Why are they acting like that? Strange behaviour, once again. Strange behaviour isn't all down to these key individuals. Strange behaviour has also leaked in and have been applied to the groups I've discussed about. Even Jeff Clark, you know, has said he has suspicions with certain groups and people, the way they, as if they seem to be withholding information, drip feeding, and only doing it when it suits them, when there's a time and place. We can still make an argument and put forward, like some people would say, that Jean, who's almost like the information bearer, the messenger, seems to know an awful lot. So what are they involved in? What do they know? Well, from what Jean has said himself, he supposedly was in the military in some way in the past, maybe because of research, being in the area and learning about stuff. That's how he found out. Because if we're talking about military, if we're talking about Accord research, well, Accord research were warned off by military in the first place, in Ellis Air Force Base. So if Jean, who was within the military at the time or later date, you might have heard about it, might have been involved, who knows? So there might be certain crossovers and valid points to be made, which would make sense to why he holds this information. As you know, I am kind of on the fence. I respect Jean for giving out information here and there, but at the same time, I'm not going all in on believing it, if that makes sense. Because I don't want to cause more confusion to the mystery or make it any more, you know, difficult to try and solve. So, with all that being in mind, there's definitely a lot to take in. And as said, who knows what will happen next? Could something happen before the end of this year? Could something happen in this mystery before the end of this year? Or could something happen to me by the end of this year? Preferably something good. Well, time will tell as the clock is ticking. just to the side of me, okay? It's silent. Is it still alive? Well, I hope so. Anyway, that's the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed it. I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching, and goodbye.